Hello snowboarders of the internet, I am your host TC, and today I'll be reviewing the LibTech MC Wayfinder 2. The Wayfinder 2 is equipped with LibTech's hybrid C2 directional camber profile. I know that's a mouthful, but I'll break it down for you. So starting at the nose here, we have a rocker section that goes into a mellow, long camber zone, pretty much under your front foot here. Right in between your feet, you're looking at a very short, abrupt rocker zone, and then right under this back foot is where your final camber zone is going to be, which is going to be a little bit more aggressive, and that way you can use this back foot for power still, but still have all of that surfability with the rocker in between the feet. And then that mellower camber zone here is going to make it so it just kind of really wants to float a lot better, but you still can engage that front foot and use that full effective edge there. This board comes in a 155 and a 160. I rode this board at Copper Mountain where it was an absolutely amazing day. Couldn't have asked for a better day for this board. We had 8 inches on one side of the mountain, a foot on the other side of the mountain, and all of the passes were closed, so it was pretty much impossible to get there unless you were already in town. The sun would poke out, but then one run later, it would be crazy flat light and you couldn't tell the difference from the sky to the ground. And I used my Ride Fuse boots and Jones Mercury bindings. When we're talking flex, this board comes in at the middle of the road, I would say overall, but that being said, the tail back here is gonna be quite a bit stiffer than that, and the nose is gonna be quite a bit softer than that. So torsionally, it is gonna be a little bit softer than the middle of the road there, and then stability-wise, it actually is very damp. So I was pretty surprised stability-wise actually, where when it was going through all that chop and chunder and all that freshly chewed out snow, this giant nose just kind of floats over it and smushes it by the time it gets under your foot. You don't really feel it that much. When you are on a smooth groomer though, and you're kind of at a pretty decent speed, I would say, you're gonna feel this nose just flopping around quite a bit. It doesn't throw you off your path or anything, but you're just gonna feel that thing and see that thing just working its way up and down. This board actually pops pretty well for it being a reverse camber dominant board, where just because you do have that shorter camber zone underneath the back foot and a shorter tail, I expected it to kind of be a little bit washy and a little bit more of you're doing all the work on that back foot. But it actually stores up and springs you out pretty well. Especially in POW, it pretty much makes its own lip for you, so you don't really have to worry about losing any energy when you're popping it. When you're landing in POW, or just on groomers in general, it does really well where when you land bolts, it floats and it doesn't get like that heel or toe bite where it wants to like sit on one side or the other. It just wants to come down completely flat, and that nose wants to submarine out where your tail sinks. Make sure you like, subscribe, click that bell, and turn on those notifications just so you don't miss any videos we have coming out. This nose butters like a big old flapjack with a nice piece of butter on it. It literally, you just shift those hips, and with all of the surface area, when you throw into it, it just folds right up and just creates a giant surface area for you to press on. Right where this Lib Technologies logo is, that's where your sweet spot's gonna be. If you get a little bit too far forward, it's gonna fold on you, you're gonna wash out. If you don't get enough, your tail might dig into the snow when you're buttering in fresh POW. Now, if you're to butter the tail, it's not gonna be as easy. I would say when you butter the tail, it's more of a wheelie where this thing just wants to go straight up on you, and it's not gonna really hold quite as well, where you're feeling some resistance there. It's not gonna be super soft or anything like that, so just be prepared to shift those hips and bend your knees to just hold on a little bit more. Carving on groomers is not where this board is gonna excel. You're gonna feel that nose flopping quite a bit, even at those minimal speeds, I'll say. And honestly, it's not a groomer board, so you really only care about carving in the POW, don't you? So carving and powder in this thing is amazing. In those tight trees, it'll just wiggle right through. You don't have to worry about the tail hitting anything or being able to get this big nose around trees. It just wiggles right around them. On those medium and larger carves, even on the more chewed up piles or the pushed out snow, it still carves pretty well at even a decent speed, I would say, where that nose flattens out all of that snow in front of you so you're not getting bucked around on it or anything like that. And when you're in those larger carves at high speeds, Just shift those hips a little forward, lean back a little bit, and you'll pretty much just feel like you're surfing, and all that power is coming from your back foot here. So don't even worry about that front foot or engaging that. Rely on all of that back foot for all the power, and it's gonna be just fine. I didn't try to Euro carve it, because who the hell tries to Euro carve in powder? But I mean, if you can, that would be sweet, but I just didn't, because I've never seen it been done. This board is for that guy that literally just wants to turn the mountain into a giant wave. They are pretty much getting low, drag in hand on every turn out there. They're not really looking to get in the air or grease up any rails on it or anything like that. They just want to make a nice few cruisy turns and find all of those pow stashes that nobody else has thought to look for. If you want to support us further, head on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP. We have a great video over there getting into it really in depth, so I don't have to right now. I really had a good time on this board. It was really fun to just surf on, like throw my hips forward, just kind of lean back like that, and just turn on it. Just make some good old fashioned classic turns where using all of my back foot for power and edge hold there, and just let my front foot just hang out. And honestly, still didn't even get a pow leg on this board, just because you really don't have to shift all your weight back there, but when you're going for those heavier turns, make sure you do. But overall, super fun board. I really enjoyed it. Not gonna be a daily driver for me, but I mean, if I needed a pow board and was on some low angle stuff, this board is money. Comparable boards, the Bataleon Surfer, the Jones Storm Chaser, and the Salomon Taka EP. Recommended bindings, the Bent Metal Transfer, the Union Ultra, and the Salomon District. This has been my review of the LibTech Wayfinder 2. If you're looking for something comparable, make sure you check out one of the videos we have for the boards that I've mentioned before.